What if the last pagan emperor of Rome, hailed as both a philosopher and a warrior, died not from enemy hands but betrayal within his own ranks? The year was 363 AD, deep in the heart of Persia, and Julian the apostate lay fatally wounded. How did it come to this? In this video, we'll uncover the dramatic story of Emperor Julian, his bold invasion of Persia, and the strange circumstances surrounding his death, which marked a turning point in Roman history. To understand the significance of Julian's death, we first need to know who he was. Julian, born in 331 AD, came from the Constantinian dynasty, but he stood out from his Christian family. Raised in a world that was rapidly becoming Christian, Julian was drawn to the old pagan gods of Rome. While his uncle, Emperor Constantine the Great, had converted to Christianity and made it the favored religion of the empire, Julian rejected it. In 361 AD, Julian became the emperor of Rome, and he quickly earned the nickname the Apostate for his efforts to restore paganism. He believed the empire had lost its strength by abandoning the old gods, and he sought to revive traditional Roman religion. But Julian wasn't just a philosopher king. He was also a military leader. And in 363 AD, he set his sights on a grand campaign against the Roman Empire's ancient rival, Persia. The Sasanian Empire, ruled by King Shapur II, was a constant threat to Rome's eastern provinces. Julian, eager to prove his strength and win glory, launched an ambitious invasion of Persia. His plan was bold: march deep into Persian territory, defeat Shapur's army, and capture the capital, Ctesiphon. At first, things seemed to go well. Julian's army crossed the Tigris River, won several battles, and even reached the outskirts of Ctesiphon. But the walls of the Persian capital were too strong, and Julian soon realized that laying siege to the city would be impossible. Meanwhile, the Persian army used guerrilla tactics, harassing the Romans and cutting off their supplies. In a fateful decision, Julian chose to retreat, hoping to lead his army back to Roman territory before the Persians could destroy them. This was the beginning of the end. As Julian's army marched back through the Persian desert, disaster struck. On June 26, 363 AD, during a skirmish with Persian cavalry, Julian was hit by a spear. Some sources say the spear came from a Persian soldier, while others suggest it might have been a Roman who had turned against him. The exact cause remains a mystery, but what we do know is that the spear pierced his side, fatally wounding him. The emperor was carried back to his tent, but it was clear that he was dying. Accounts say that Julian remained calm in his final moments, reflecting on philosophy and accepting his fate. According to some reports, his last words were, "Thou hast conquered, O Galilean." These words, if true, were directed at Jesus Christ, acknowledging the triumph of Christianity over his pagan faith. After just 20 months on the throne, the last pagan Roman emperor was dead. His army, leaderless and trapped in hostile territory, had no choice but to negotiate a humiliating peace with the Persians, ending Julian's campaign in failure. Julian's death had far-reaching consequences. With him died the last serious attempt to restore paganism in the Roman Empire. His successors were all Christians, and under their rule, Christianity became even more firmly established as the state religion. Within a few decades, the old Roman gods would fade into history, never again to challenge the dominance of the Christian faith. Julian's failure in Persia also marked the beginning of a decline for the Roman Empire. While Rome still had a few centuries left in the West, the loss of such a large and well-trained army in Persia weakened the empire's ability to defend its borders. The East would remain vulnerable to Persian attacks for years to come. One of the enduring mysteries surrounding Julian's death is the question of who threw the fatal spear. Some sources, particularly Christian writers, suggest that Julian was betrayed by one of his own soldiers. These accounts imply that his attempt to bring back paganism made him unpopular among his Christian troops, who may have seen his death as divine justice. However, other accounts point to the Persian cavalry as the most likely culprits. Julian was known for leading from the front, often charging in a battle with little regard for his own safety. In the chaos of battle, it's possible that he was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. We may never know for sure who killed Julian, but his death remains one of the most significant turning points in the history of the Roman Empire. Julian's death in 363 AD was not just the end of his life. It was the end of an era. He was the last Roman emperor to openly reject Christianity and embrace the ancient pagan traditions. His ambitious campaign against Persia was his final gamble to prove that the old ways could still bring glory to Rome, but it ended in failure. If you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll stay updated with more great content about history and ancient civilizations. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.